on your windowsill. The weapon is peace, the word is chill.
Hello there, gang, and welcome to another episode of Displaying Model Behavior. And today it is story time, but a very basic story time because I'm going into the way back machine to remember one of my most fondly remembered amazing Spider-Man stories from the hazy early 90s, back when the world was full of, well, what was it full of? There was no reality TV, there was no social media. Wow, it was a halcyon day. We were like running, jumping, climbing trees, playing with sticks. Oh god, we were so basic back then. Oh well, it had its good times, and it had its good Spider-Man crossovers. I was in danger of going on a tangent there. Yes, before the days of Clone Sagas and Maximum Carnage, we had Round Robin, the Sidekick's Revenge, and it featured a smorgasbord of the most 90s characters we're ever going to find. Why am I covering this story? I'll tell you why. This guy, Nova, the human rocket, he is my newest figure. I was suddenly thinking, can I quantify that? He's my newest Marvel legend. And I was going to do a normal review, and then I thought, why? Because 10 bajillion people and their mothers have already done a review of Nova. It's been done, it's been covered. But who's talking about Round Robin, the Sidekick's Revenge in 2021? I guarantee you, no one but me. So this is a story that involves Nova, but it doesn't focus on him. But I'm going to talk about the figures as I do the story, which is what I do anyway. So you get a sneaky Nova review in here too. And this figure is adequate. That's about it. That's all I can say. I can't really get excited about him. He does what he says on the tin. It's Nova. I mean, am I happy that we've got a 90s Nova? Yes, of course. I'd be happy that we have a 90s anyone. It's 90s. So that is great because it replaces the not very good, in my opinion, don't get angry at me, more cosmic modern Nova on my shelf, because that's not New Warriors Nova. That's some intergalactic annihilation wave Nova. This, though, this guy is 90s New Warriors Nova, so I'm chuffed as chips to have him. But the problem is, though, it's just so adequate. Everything about this figure is adequate. You know, it's a basic body. I need to stop saying, you know. I've watched that back on my videos and I'm like, Dave, stop saying, you know. And now that I've brought it up, you're going to notice it, so therefore I have to stop. But here we go. It's fine. It just like, they've just painted on the stars. That's okay. But look at the face. Why is the face so plain? He is the human rocket blasting through the cosmos. Doesn't mean much to him though. Less than impressed. He is so over his intergalactic life. So that's all there is to it really. He has a fisted hand. He has a swooshing hand. That's a thing. So you can put those together and have him soaring through the air. But it's just very, you know, at least, oh, I said it. I've got to have a you know count. I'm going to drill that out of myself. He has his little booties, which are, again, they're fine. They are just painted on. It looks a little bit like they are separate pieces because of where the boot cut is. It works quite well. But essentially, it's not like they're specially sculpted boots or anything. Oh god, I'm going to put... That looked like he was making a terrible gesture. Oh my goodness. So yeah, he's fine. That's all it is. He's fine. I just feel like it could have been more, but it's adequate. So what is this adequate figure doing in this story? Well, I'll tell you. Of course, the story is all about Spider-Man. This takes place in Amazing Spider-Man, and Spidey went bi-weekly in the summertime, and they would do these big crossovers. You had Assassination Plot, you had Round Robin, then there was Invasion of the Spider Slayers. Oh, that was a classic. And where is our Alistair Smythe figure? Come on, Hasbro! And after that we had Maximum Carnage, and then we were off to the races. So we had Spider-Man, and he's just doing his thing. He's swinging around, he's having a good time, but he doesn't know that he is about to be bombarded by every overpushed 90s character minus Venom and Wolverine. Venom and Wolverine were the two super pushed characters, and then it was everyone else after them, but there were some big ones. And the main one being pushed at that particular point in time, I don't even know, I was going to say Moon Knight. But actually, he wasn't too bad. But he was also featuring in West Coast Avengers and a few others. But that's who this story circles around, is Moon Knight. More specifically, his former partner, the Robin to his Batman, Midnight, who in a previous Moon Knight story, see, this is kind of a Moon Knight story featuring Spider-Man. So in a previous Moon Knight story, Midnight had been zapped and killed and blasted and presumed dead. Nuh-uh-uh. He had been rebuilt as a cyborg. Frickin' love cyborgs. And now he was working for the villainous group that semi-killed him and rebuilt him. Hey, I guess it's like, I might as well work with these guys because they clearly know what they're doing. They're better than me. So he gets rebuilt as a badass looking cyborg with, like, you know, metallic face and just the human eyes. It looks really cool, actually. It's a badass cyborg design. It's nothing out of the ordinary. We've seen these a bajillion times before, but it's still a really fun look. And he goes off to kidnap Nova. Why? Can't tell you. I'm not rereading all 5 parts because I read like the first issue and skimmed through the rest and I was like, this isn't great. This is a very decompressed story. They didn't need 5 issues to tell this. Either way, Midnight and his legion of guys, they are actually called the Secret Empire. So before the Secret Empire, there was this Secret Empire. They kidnap Nova, and then it's time for the heroes to have misunderstandings, fight for a bit, and then team up and do the rescue. It's the classic tale. So amongst those heroes, first of all, as you know, we have Nova, we have Spider-Man, but also we have the other ultra-pushed character of the 90s. You know who it is. Of course, it is the Punisher. Probably the only character to feature in crossovers and other stories less than Spider-Man and Wolverine in this time in the 90s. Although, gosh, Venom was high up there too. But Frank Castle was getting his paydays in all sorts of comics. Normally ones like Spider-Man, where the heroes don't kill. Then Punisher would turn up and just be like, ah, screw this, I'm killing everyone. And all the heroes would do every time is go like, oh, one of these days, Punisher. One of these days. Not today, because your killing is quite useful, but one of these days! It's the way the heroes work. So Punisher would turn up, he would shoot all the guys, and eventually he went undercover. He went undercover with the Secret Empire. Ooh, just like in the modern comics, he worked for the Secret Empire. Little flip and reverse. Flip reverse. I don't think that means what I think it means. But yeah, Punisher goes undercover, working with the guys under strict instructions not to murder people, but come on, you got to allow him 1 or 2. Also, this Punisher figure, he's grown on me so much. This is the vintage Punisher that came on the card with a big plastic bazooka, which looked so naff. It looked really naff, and I hated this character because also I would be looking at the Walgreens Punisher that had the bandolier and the brown belt, and I thought, oh, he looks cooler. Whereas this guy just looked too cartoony and silly. But actually, since I threw away the plastic bazooka and gave him some more legit looking guns that looks more badass, this is my quintessential Punisher now, especially because he reminds me a lot of the Garth Ennis, Steve Dillon Punisher as well, which is just classic. Basically, classic Punisher. I really, really dig this figure. Really cool. So, these guys, we have our little system. All the little flavors are mixing, but there's a few more classic 90s flavors to throw in. Because, of course, it wouldn't be a 90s comic without Darkhawk. Actually, that's a lie. There are lots of 90s comics without Darkhawk, but Darkhawk was being pushed at the time. Just like wrestlers, he's getting a push at this moment. Also, interesting little factoid, in the first issue, there's a scene with Peter Parker, Mary Jane, and Aunt May, where Aunt May bursts into the room because she's like, oh, it's time for wrestling! Wrestling's on TV, I almost forgot. I'm like, oh my god, Aunt May is a wrestling fan. Of course she is. Just gone up 10,000% in my appreciation of the character. Aunt May, when written well, especially modern Aunt May, is kind of cool and badass, but also even old, doddery, rubbish, constantly on death's door Aunt May from the 90s, at least she was a wrestling fan, so doth of my cap to you, Aunt May. And I imagine with the sliding time scale, Aunt May in the comics currently must be a massive ECW fan. ECW? What the hell am I saying? ECW wasn't even a thing during this time period. That would have been Eastern Championship Wrestling. AEW. There you go. She'd be a big AEW fan. Because no one likes WWE. Awful. Anyway, Darkhawk was being... How did I get onto that? Darkhawk was being super pushed, basically. He was being pushed in a lot of comics. He would team up or fight against Venom or Ghost Rider, you name it. So, of course, Darkhawk just shows up for his obligatory appearance, basically. And this figure of Darkhawk, I dig, but there's something about it that I feel is more modern Darkhawk, as opposed to old 90s Darkhawk. But to be honest, I can't put my finger on it. Maybe this is actually 90s Darkhawk. Maybe because I've just seen him recently in the comics in a modern incantation, I think that this is a more modern version. But actually looking at him, this is how he looked in the comics. So, or in the 90s comics. So no, I'm probably being too unfair. This is legit Darkhawk here. And I like the little things with his claws. Gosh, that wasn't easy to say. His Darkhawk type claws on his wrist. It was the 90s. Everyone needed to have retractable wrist blades. Wolverine, Predator, and then everyone else who didn't have a gimmick existing already. So yeah, this is a fun little figure. I like the sculpting. Again, a bit more bang for your buck than, say, our Nova figure. This one has the sculpted helmet, which Nova has too, but then he's got the wings as well, which are nice. He's got the little blade claws there. Just feels like there's a bit more going on. So similar levels of adequate, but this one is a bit more adequate. And then finally, they team up with Night Thrasher. So that's as 90s as this crossover gets. So many wonderfully 90s characters, even representing the New Warriors. So of course, everyone, all the team, they bundle into the secret research headquarters of the Secret Empire. A big fight ensues. Midnight confronts Moon Knight and he's like, I blame you for them trying to kill me. You know how it is. And also Thunderball from the Wrecking Crew is in there too, although apparently they've all lost their powers at this point. But he's there, he's a mad scientist who's working on Midnight, doing his cybernetics and stuff, and also he's kind of a tragic character, because Midnight, you know, he does want to do this, but he doesn't, he's conflicted, he's kind of tortured, and he falls in love with this scientist lady, and the ending is kind of cool, where the scientist lady's like, look, I've got cyborg bits too, we can rule the world together, and then Spider-Man throws the web, he webs her face, and she's like, oh, this fucking webbing, she rips it off, and of course she rips off all the skin, revealing this terrifying, soulless cyborg skeleton face, and even Midnight is like, damn, that's a bit much. Which actually, like, what a bitch move. He's like, I'm with you, baby, till the ends of the earth. Ooh, you're a little bit scary looking now. I reject you entirely. And then, of course, the whole place explodes. They all get crushed by rubble. Only the characters with any kind of franchise survive. Although, I like the ending. You just see, like, the male and female cyborgs' arms, like, locked together in combat. And, of course, they're ripped off the shoulders, just lying there. It's like, that's kind of cool. It's kind of poignant. I like that. And in the end, everyone goes their separate ways. And that was Spider-Man Round Robin, the Sidekick's Revenge. And we've come a long way in the last 30 years. 40 years. Jeez Louise. It's been a long time. However long it's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you without a dope beat to step two. Step two. Step two. No, I'm not going to do that. Sorry. It was a fun comic. Was it required to be 5 issues? Probably not. Did it give me an excuse to bust out a whole bunch of fantastic action figures? Yes, it did. So with that being the case, I enjoyed reminiscing about this comic. Wouldn't want to read all 5 issues again though, but Nova is what he looks fabulous there. Hello, I'm Nova. Let's put that down. Yeah, Nova is a fine, adequate figure. So that's why I haven't done a big bells and whistles review, because there's not that much to say. But I hope you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed doing this one. Nova, you're going with the New Warriors. And guys, that was another episode of Displaying Model Behaviour. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then please join the 6-1 Clicks by clicking the like, share, and subscribe buttons. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out on a single episode of this nonsense that I am putting out to the internet. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and until next time. Oh wait, I keep forgetting. No, I'm going to say it now. We have a Discord in the link below. That thing's kind of blown up, which is so cool. So if you enjoy chatting to people about action figures, go join the Discord. Also, I have an Instagram. You can message me directly on there if you want to get in touch about anything, or just follow me posting random pictures of action figures. You can find the link to the Instagram down below as well. And also there's a Patreon. So if you want to see some more exclusive videos that, to be honest, aren't as good as these ones, because these are like the money videos, but if you want some extra content, it's over at patreon.com/displaymodelbehavior. Go check it out. That's all the shilling done. So until next time, keep displaying model behavior.